Hello and welcome back to the 1834 Restoration House. As you know, we need a new restoration project because we've had to relocate and we're in another state now. So we've been looking at real estate listings and trying to see if there's anything good out there that we could do that's in the same realm as what we've been doing on our channel so far. Today we're going to go look at a house that we believe was built around the early 1900s or maybe the late 1800s. It's very cheap. It's very rundown, and we think it may have suffered fire damage, but we're not sure. There's only one photo, so we're going to go drive by today and take a look, and we're bringing you with us. So here it is. It looks pretty rundown, and it's really hard to tell, but it does still look like there may be some fire damage here. I'm not exactly sure the extent of it, though, because we can't go inside without a realtor.
Piece of wood.
There's some serious rot down here. Here we can see smoke damage on the porch.
So we got to talk to some of the neighbors about this house, and they said definitely it did catch fire, and you can see some of it over here. We'll show you in a moment. But there is only a small section of the house that caught fire. The whole foundation looks fantastic. You can't really tell there's any fire at all underneath, which is great. The house has been abandoned pretty much for about 10 years, they said. Nobody has been living in it, so maybe there was a squatter or something that started a fire. Don't know. But let's go ahead and show you what we can see of the outside of the house. As you can see around me, it's really overgrown.
Here we have 6/6 double-hung windows, most of which, of course, are broken. If you look closely, you can see the power to the house has been cut. Behind the house is an alley, and the property continues on past the other side, making it possible to build a garage.
This old tree is pretty amazing. Look how big it is. Okay, now that we've seen it.
And you've seen it too.
Yes. What are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are this is a house that has some potential historic value. It was built in 1927 and it was part of a company town. And what I mean by that is that sometimes mills back in this part of the country would build an entire town for their employees around the factory. They built houses, churches, post offices, sometimes schools, so that their employees didn't have to go too far away. You know, it kind of helped with employee loyalty.
Yeah.
You don't really see that anymore. But a lot of these old houses still exist. And this particular house, from what we've been able to find out, has sat for probably at least 10, maybe 15 years vacant. And in all that time, of course, they start to fail. The roof fails, they start to leak, they become a little more derelict, and over time, eventually the house probably went into foreclosure, I think, and then the county took it back. They sold it to an investment firm for the ridiculous amount of $3,000. And then a couple of years later, the house caught fire, was damaged, as we can see in the video, and we don't know what the extent of it is yet because we haven't been inside, and we're trying to decide if we want to go back and look a little deeper. But the fact is, yes?
I was going to say, but the neighbors did say it didn't look extensive, and a lot of people that have gone in said it didn't look that bad.
Yes.
So
yes.
That's good news. That means it's not completely charbroiled inside kind of thing.
Right.
But there definitely smoke damage everywhere, as you saw.
A fire damaged house can be recovered if it's not too bad, but it really depends on how serious it was and how far the fire was allowed to spread. So, I mean, lumber can be replaced. If there's any sheetrock in there, it needs to come out, period. It's done. If there's plaster, it can probably be cleaned up. Anyway, going back to the history, the holding company had it, and then the fire happened, and now they're trying to resell it I mean, the price they're asking for this thing is really, really low. It's ridiculously cheap. And a lot of people have come by and looked at it, according to the neighbors. But they take one look at it and they run. And once they see the rotten wood and they see the smoke damage, your average flipper is not going to want to do that. They want a house they can go into, slam down some gray paint, ick, some plastic flooring, and then turn around and flip it and make $20,000. Okay, this is not the kind of house that you're going to do that with. But the house does have some interesting architecture, and it does have a history tied in with being a company house originally. So,
and it's a good solid house still, I think.
Yeah, and the neighbors say that it's fairly large inside. It's hard to tell exactly from the outside, but a lot of times you see a house and you go inside and it feels a lot bigger inside than when you were walking around the outside.
It's close to a highway, really close to the highway, so you can hear the traffic, but the neighborhood is pretty low key. It would be a lot of work, but I think it would be worth it. Mm-hmm. I think their asking price might be a little high since they have done nothing with it and absolutely nothing with the yard either. It is so overgrown. It's also not an up-and-coming neighborhood. It's an old neighborhood. All the houses are about the same age. I wouldn't want to put too much into it, but definitely we could repair it. I wouldn't make it extremely fancy, but putting in the old wood type look again would be nice. Mm-hmm. I think the time era would be easily done without putting a fortune into it.
Somebody's going to have to go and completely clear the site, take down all the brush, the debris, the dead trees, the garbage, get that out. The roof probably needs to be pulled out and replaced. We know that there's some sill work that needs to be done, siding work needs to be done, and
all new windows.
New windows. The thing is, the only reason we're even looking at this thing is because the price is so low that there's a ton of room in order to do the work and build some equity with this thing. So if they were trying to sell it for $100,000 or something like that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But I don't know, I think it's worth considering. What do you guys think? Leave your comments below and tell us what you think. And we have some other houses that we're looking at as well, so this isn't the only thing on the table.
Right.
Right.
We're just getting started at looking for another house. So.
Exactly. We're looking at options and
we
trying to find out what to do. What should we do? What shouldn't we do? What do you think? Should we run away from this, or should we just dive in and keep looking at it?
Let us know.
Okay. We'll see you next time.